Today we're in John chapter 1 verse 18. John the writer is determined that we understand that Jesus is God. This is the 8th time in his opening prologue here that he is giving us this fact. In verse 1, he told us that the Word, who we find out is Jesus, that the Word was both with God and was God. In verse 2, he told us that Jesus is uncreated, giving him a status of deity. In verse 4, we read that Jesus is the essence of life and the source of light, which is talking about divine truth. In verse 7, John the Baptist recognized the deity of Jesus. In verse 12, Jesus is recognized as the one possessing the authority to give people salvation. In verse 14, Jesus is the one who shares the glory of God. In verse 15, we are told that Jesus is God in the flesh. Here in verse 18, we read that no one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. So John, in his typical style, is saying the same thing in the last verse of the section that he did in the first verse of the section, like bookends. Jesus was with God, and he also is God. We may not be able to see God in all his glory, but if we truly see Jesus, we will see the glory of God, and we'll see as much of God as we need to see to make a responsive belief. John is telling us that nothing more than knowing Jesus is needed to convince anyone who has an open mind and an open heart. Now from here, now that his prologue is ended, we will discover as we read the gospel that just about every section of the book ties back into the thoughts of verses 1 through 18. In other words, verses 1 through 18 is what the gospel is about, and every section of the book is going to expand on the themes that John has brought up here. So let's talk about it.